So we have Matt Thomas of Parmalee on Pure Country, and my first time getting to meet you. I'm so excited, but congratulations on the new album that's out.
Oh, thank you.
What's the feeling like putting out a record, especially in such a weird time? Is there more pressure or less pressure because you're not on the road seeing your fans? You're not really able to test your music out the same way you normally would.
Um, well, the funny thing was we weren't planning on putting the whole album out. It was just going to be like the next song behind Just the Way, and maybe an EP was the talk. So really wasn't the pressure of like, oh, we have to put an album out, and
Right.
so that was good. We didn't have that pressure, but I think you're yeah getting to test some songs out. Even some of the songs on the album, we played them live and they didn't go over as good live as we thought they were. So we're putting new songs in it. Having that chance to do it, while you're working on them is something we kind of missed out. But
Yeah.
we're playing catch up now, so it's all good.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of artists had to kind of, change their way of doing things in this last very strange year that we've had. So I was away on maternity leave when you released Just the Way, and then it went number one. So I didn't actually get to talk to you guys about that song, but congratulations, because that song was so big and so moving. And I feel like such a special song to go number one. And also cool for Blanco to have his first number one with you guys. When you guys first got that song together, did you ever picture it being as big as it ended up being?
No, it's
No.
I mean it's still going. That's the crazy thing. It's
Yeah.
almost like it's unbelievable to see everything behind that song. Had we had the song, I wrote it in 2018, and when you're on the bus and you're playing songs and you're trying to figure out what's next, and I just you go through all these songs that you've written and you play them for all the guys. Everybody's on the bus. I don't like that. That. We played that one, and it was like it kept coming back up. It's like the song's really good. It's just not something's not right. The production wasn't right on it. It was just. And then David, our producer, he said, "Why don't you get Blanco on it?" It's like, "You guys are friends." I was like, "Yeah, I never thought about that, but let's just do it." And so I texted him the song, and we went down a couple of days, and he got his vocal, and David reproduced it, and we turned it in, and everybody at the label flipped out. But back to your question, no, I had no idea it would be as big as it was, and I mean, I think the timing was perfect too with the pandemic going on. It was a little bit of a positive light in the midst of
Mhm.
everything, and I felt like everybody you could use a little positivity during that time.
Yeah, and also I just think with the world we live in now, where social media has become so huge, and just this tool where everybody goes on and compares themselves to everybody else and everybody else's life, and it's not the most healthy way of living. But that song is just such a positive reminder that the way that you are made and the person that you are is exactly who you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that message, it's so simple, but nobody really said it the way you guys said it. And I feel like it was just a fresh reminder, like, yeah, someone should love you just the way you are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're just so thankful to be a part of it and have everything. See all the positivity. It smiles. I guess if you're giving somebody a smile during the day, that's what it's all about. So that's always a good thing.
Have you guys gotten to play it live a couple times now, I'm assuming?
Oh yeah, no, we're
Yeah.
rocking now. Yeah, we're playing. We'll be doing 3 shows this week and pretty much three from here on out. So it's been crazy to see the energy.
It-
We posted a lot of the videos on our socials of people singing it back, but like I said before, I think we're playing catch up because we missed that the whole year. That's a
right.
song, and that's probably the hardest thing of any artist is to have a song swelling and gaining traction. Seeing that happen when you play shows is the most exciting thing ever. To go to a different town and it's like, oh man, they're hearing a song out here. It's getting there, and not being able to see that, for the
Yeah.
whole year was frustrating. But we all went through it. But it's
But
catching up now. Though. It's
I
good.
feel like the energy would have to almost be like multiplied by a million now when fans get to hear it, because they've been cooped up and they're like, finally, we get to hear it live.
Yeah, it is. It's like a lot of first time performances for these people. For us, playing that song in front of the people, and so even our old fans sometimes they haven't seen us play it yet.
Yeah. No, that's
It's
so cool. And then, go back to when Carolina went number one for you guys. That's got to kind of be like a pinch me for you, because you're from North Carolina. So that ends up being your first song. But I didn't realize that before you all had your deal, somebody else actually had that song on hold and was going to release it.
They released it, yeah. Artist named Benton Blunt, who's actually from North Carolina. We were stumbling around as a band. We couldn't get a deal because we were too rock for country, too pop for rock. I don't know. Nobody could figure out what we were. You know, it was right before Jason Aldean and Luke. Eric Church came in and kind of add some rock elements to country. Right. So, yeah, I mean, we were struggling band. We didn't have anything. So this artist wanted to put the song out, and we did it regionally. We had a regional hit with Carolina. It was great. People were coming to the shows, and it kind of did its thing. We couldn't get a deal off of it. So we're like, yeah, take it. Put it out to country radio. We're broke. We need money.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure, have it.
So it's funny because it's the exact time where he actually came into our record label and played that song, and they were going to actually sign him off of that song.
Wow.
And, yeah, it's crazy. And somehow there was a record label that started around him and the song, and they were going to radio with it, and I think they'd done some radio stuff, and then the guy that was starting a record label just pulled a plug and said, I'm not doing this. And
so it folded.
It folded, and we got the song back. And so we re-recorded it, the version you hear now, and the rest is history, I guess, if they say.
Everything happens for a reason, but what a odd turn of events and stuff to get you guys to where you needed to be.
There's so many odds, turns in our path in this band. It's crazy. We're actually working on a book right now. We're starting to talk about doing a book.
That was literally one of the things I was going to tell you. I feel like you guys should put together some sort of book to commemorate everything that you guys have gone through, because we'll get to a little bit more of that later, but you guys have had some scary, frightening, heartbreaking stuff happen that I don't think, I know you guys have talked about it, but I don't think a lot of fans maybe really know what you all have been through. It's not been an easy, normal rise to where you are right now. And getting into that, your brother is in the band, mm-hmm. Scott, and then cousin Barry, and then good friend Josh is also in the band. What is that like? Because I know I always talk to bands, they say it's so nice to have a band because you have a band of brothers to support you, but you literally do have brother, cousin, family, and friend. Is it fun and easier working with family, or is it tough sometimes?
Oh, it gets tough. I mean, at this point, we've all kind of figured out how to bob and weave each other in the good ways and the bad ways. So it's about staying out of the way when you need to stay out of the way. And we've all kind of figured out our roles in the band and who does what, and we're all in this business together. We're all supporting the same people, family. So it works out. I mean, I think getting into it was a lot easier. It's tough when you have to miss the family reunions. And like my cousin's getting married, and she's like, the whole family's trying to pick her wedding date around when we can be there. I was like, that's not fair, It's kind of
hard,
tough, but it's been great. I mean, we get along better than most, I would say. Not too much fighting, but we do fight over some stupid, minuscule things sometimes.
I think that is normal in a sibling relationship. It's just you guys have it in also a band aspect too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so your dad actually was musical, was a musician growing up. So, when you guys started the band, putting music together and stuff, was he a fan, or was he like, I don't know about those guys?
No, we played, when we were teenagers, we started playing, and then we were eventually in his band.
Okay.
Because we would, load the gear and show up sober to the shows and things. The local guys were tough to have to deal with, Once we got good enough, we were in his band, me, Scott, and Barry. And
cool.
We were in a band called Jerry Thomas and the Thomas Brothers, and that kind of carried us for a little bit. And he kind of bowed out of it. He's like, y'all do your thing. And he passed in 2006, and he saw us. We were doing some things, we were going out to California and working. We were doing, went to New York, did an album. Just things that were just happening. The music wasn't quite right. We were stumbling around trying to figure out what we were going to be doing. And he passed, and he didn't get a chance to see all this stuff. So I feel like he'd be at the shows now if he was here. But
For
um,
sure.
yeah. But he saw us giving it 100% every time we would ask him what should we do. He said, keep on plugging, just keep doing what you're doing.
That's the best advice you could get, especially in this industry, because you got to have that, long-term goal mindset. If you're looking at the short term, it's not.
Oh, I know. I know. I feel bad. I felt bad for my mom for all those years, and she's like got two boys out there that just struggling being in a band. I know her friends like, what are they thinking? That. But once we got our #1 plaque, I felt like that she got a little weight lifted off her
Yeah,
shoulders.
she probably was like, whew, okay.
Yeah. A lot of people were. A lot of our fans and everybody was. So
Yeah,
I just got to say thanks to them for sticking it out with us.
that's awesome. So the new album for you, I'm listening to it because it came out not too long ago, and trying to pick which, because I was trying to like find the song on there that's like my favorite. It's tough to do on this record. I will tell you, I was listening to it. I kept going back and forth from a different song, and I love Take My Name. I really love Greatest Hits featuring Fitz. I think that is such a cool song because you guys are this Southern rock kind of pop. There's so many different sounds, and hearing that song on the record is like, oh, this is kind of different, but also still you guys. Was it
Yeah,
fun putting this record together and kind of getting to maybe take, some new paths and be a little bit more experimental on some songs like that?
100%. Because we were working a lot with the guys out in LA that I wrote Just the Way with, Kevin Bard and Nolan Sipe, and those guys are tied into the pop guys. So one of the writers on that is Andrew Goldstein, who is written Black Bear and produces Maroon 5 and Black Bear, and that's that sound you're hearing on pop radio right now. It's those sounds that we have. So it was really cool, and I've always been cross genre on everything, but they lean on me to bring the country because they're like, I think Fitz, we got Fitz on it. He was talking trash to Nolan, one of the other writers. He's like, you talking about cranking it up on a creek bank? He's like, you ain't never been on a creek bank. What are you writing? I said, that was me talking about cranking it up on a creek bank. But
You're
it's
like, I
crazy.
actually have been on a creek bank.
Yeah,
That's
I've done
fair.
that a lot. So it's really cool to get to collab with those guys and do. And it's really like who cares? Just do what feels good and let's try something new.
Yeah.
Let's see if it fits somewhere. And I think a lot of these songs were written as a follow up to Just the Way. We had Just the Way, so we were like, okay, what is the listener? What are our fans going to want to hear next? Like you want to hit play and you don't want to have to skip it. Like what's going to be the song that follows up Just the Way? It's going to feel good. It's going to be positive. It's going to be fun. And so a lot of these songs were kind of like written
In
for
that
that purpose. Yeah,
mindset. Yeah. And because I mean, you're longtime fans with Carolina. You have songs on this record that, hit those fans and they go, oh, that's the Parmalee we know and love. And
yeah,
then, you've also gained a lot of new fans from Just the Way being as big as it was, that those new fans are like, oh, I like that music, but yet I still have that, same sound as Just the Way on here too, that I feel comfortable. And it's like, I like this Parmalee too. So it's a cool record. I will say every song on it fits together. They're kind of different. They're kind of the same. I feel like it's a very well-rounded record. So congratulations.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. We had about 35 songs we were picking from, but like you said, we wanted to make sure they all kind of worked with this set.
Yeah, for sure. So what I was talking about earlier that I did not know about you guys. So I also felt like one of those fans of you guys that was totally oblivious to this happening. In September 2010, you guys had something absolutely terrifying, and especially for you being your brother, you guys were there was an attempted robbery and shooting that your brother was shot in and almost didn't make it. Reading it, my heart was just like, I can't imagine going through what he went through, but also for you to experience that. And, you're in this band, he's your brother, and this frightening thing happens and you feel like you might lose him. It's got to be something that no matter what, no matter how you guys grow and work through it, it's always kind of probably stuck with you and been hard to kind of get past, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean it was horrible. And even going back, to make the story even more horrible. So when we got Carolina, when we re-recorded it, the guy fell out of the record deal. We got it back. We re-recorded it. That was the first like deal we'd ever gotten, like deal we'd ever done. So we had basically had a record deal kind of on wait for us. We got a production deal. We recorded Must Have Had a Good Time in Carolina in July of 2010. We were, been in a band in a van struggling for years. We finally had something happening. We finally had we're gonna make it. We were gonna come to Nashville and get a record deal. The labels were waiting on us. So what we were doing is we were just rehearsing. Like we would just do pickup gigs for no money, whatever. We got to play these shows because we got to get ready because when we go to Nashville, we're gonna get a deal. And that was July, so we were doing shows coming out to Nashville in November, and then in September we're playing a dive bar on a Monday night, and we're packing up the gear at the end of the night. I think maybe 15 people were there. We made $15 that night. As a matter of fact, that was our pay after we paid the sound guy. And get a knock on the door at RV, not a bus, an old RV, and some dudes gun at my head, give me your cash, and so there was in bandanas, it was a robbery. They were trying to rob us. They thought we had money. And so they pushed me up into the RV and, demanding money, fired the gun, demanding money. And Scott's a concealed carrier, so he had his pistol in the back. So he engaged him, shot both of them, but he was shot 3 times. One hit his femoral artery, so that was a bad wound. Luckily, there was a cop at the McDonald's next door, and they heard all the commotion. He came there, and they airlifted him to the hospital. And he had a 5% chance of living. That's what the doctor told us as we're rolling in there at 4 in the morning. We had to drive an hour to the hospital, and then the doctor tells us he's got a 5% chance to live. Most people don't make it. He pulled through somehow. He had like 3 life-saving surgeries, spent 40 days in the hospital, 10 in a coma. It was pins and needles, like just the worst thing you could ever imagine. Yeah, and we're in there, and then the one guy survived, the other guy didn't. The survivors and they wheeled him on the same floor. So we're in there with our group of people, and in his group, and it's like, oh, what's going to happen here? Is this going to be
Yeah.
It just went on and on and on. But he made it through, and we got him out and rehabbed him. We were doing double physical therapy, and because you also had the threat of like bacteria infections in there. He was cut. His stomach was cut open. His legs were filleted where they had to do wound vacs. We became nurses. But the cool thing was our fans and our families and everybody we had connected with, whether it be through friends, family, or our music, they all kind of just chipped in to help Parmalee Fund and raised like $50,000, and we paid medical bills, and we paid rent, and we paid everything we could. But we stayed at that hospital. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
We stayed at the hospital for all 40 days. We just switched shifts, so we didn't go home.
You guys are truly a family. Fans, everything all included. It's like a family support group that kind of got you through that. My gosh.
Yeah, and knowing that we had something to look forward to coming. The whole thing was we got to get back out to Nashville because we got to get this record deal. That's what we had on the plate the whole time. So we went back in February of the following year, 4 months later. Scott's had a leg brace on, and we practiced and did our 6 songs or whatever, and ended up getting a record deal. So
wow. Yeah, that's what I mean when I say that, you guys, your music is so uplifting and it's inspirational and it's feel good. And fans, unless they really dig into who you guys truly are or see you in a show or, an interview, they don't know what all you guys have been through to get to where you are. So it's amazing. I'm so excited for you guys to see where this record takes you and what song ends up being on the radio next. That's what I'm most excited to hear. But I love the record. It's called For You, and hopefully maybe you guys will get to come to Canada sometime soon and play it for
coming. We're on the way as soon as we can get up there. Trust me. We had shows booked in 2020 that we missed out on. We were just so frustrated. It was like, oh man, we got to get back up. So we'll come see you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Matt Thomas of Parmalee, and hopefully we'll get to see you in real life soon for an interview instead of on Zoom.
Thank you, Shannon.
All right. Thank you.